Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're having another great day today. Well, today we're going to be talking about leasing again. And I just made two videos about leasing. The first one was just kind of talking about my leasing deal with Rivian. And the second video was getting more into details of my leasing agreement and how I thought it was an awesome deal, and it's still an awesome deal. Coming up on a bunch of traffic. What's going on here? Looks like I picked the wrong way to go home today. We'll just take an alternative route. Let me get out of here. But yeah, so I made my those videos, had a lot of comments. And so the question is, are you better off purchasing or leasing an electric vehicle? If you're in the market for an electric vehicle, I know a lot of people don't like leasing. They say it's the most expensive way to own a vehicle, but does it make more sense to lease an electric vehicle? And that's what we're going to talk about. And I'll give you my opinion. But there are some factors that should be considered, and we just kind of discussed some of those factors. One being the tax credit, and that's kind of a big deal. You know, so right now, in order to qualify for that tax credit, if it's a car, it has to be below $50,000. If it's an SUV, it has to be below $80,000. If it's above that, it doesn't qualify for the federal tax credit. Also, the vehicle has to qualify for the tax credit, and there's a lot of different rules that are determining a vehicle's eligibility. And right now, a lot of vehicles are not eligible for that tax credit. There's very few. So basically, there's not a lot of vehicles that qualify for the EV credit, the full 7,500. Now, some vehicles may qualify for half the credit. Not a lot of vehicles that qualify for that. And then the next factor to consider is your personal income. You know, there's an income limit, and that's $150,000 if you're single, and that's for your adjusted gross income. And then also if you're married, it's $300,000. And so if you're over that threshold, again, you won't qualify for the tax credit. However, if you lease the vehicle, none of those rules apply. And so you don't have to worry about the income limit or whether or not the vehicle meet those specific standards set in place by the Inflation Reduction Act. It's kind of a loophole. And so that's one of the things one of the reasons I decided to lease this vehicle. Well, not this one, but the Rivian R1S that we'll be picking up. It's because that I get the tax credit. Another thing to consider is depreciation. And right now, there's a lot of depreciation with electric vehicles. I know a lot of this depreciation was brought on by Tesla. So if I was thinking about getting a Tesla, I would definitely consider leasing that vehicle, because I just believe there's going to be more price cuts, and that's going to be equal more depreciation for that vehicle. There's going to be a lot of pressure on automakers to reduce prices of all vehicles, and electric vehicles tend to be more expensive. So it's going to be more pressure to offer deals on these electric vehicles. And that just means more depreciation. And like I said, tax credits create depreciation, and all these high interest rates and low demand is just going to create more depreciation for the used market. And so that's another reason. And another factor to consider is the advancement in technology. If there's some big improvement in battery technology, then that can cause a lot of depreciation for the current vehicles on the market right now. Those are the factors I consider, you know, when I was considering leasing versus purchasing. Well, the same may not hold true for gas vehicles, but for electric vehicles, since this is such a new technology, there's so much unknown about it, as far as maybe how long battery is going to last, how these vehicles are going to hold up. And another factor to consider is that you have a lot of new entrants into the market. You know, Tesla's been making electric vehicles for a long time, but some of these other companies, they've been pulled, you know, dragging and kicking and screaming as far as having to produce these electric vehicles. This is not their first choice, but because the EPA has changed these rules and made them so stringent, they're kind of forced to make electric vehicles. And so we just don't know how these vehicles are going to hold up over time, what battery replacement cost is, and there's just so many other factors to consider. And so if you want to hedge against some of those things, leasing is a good way to go, because that way you don't have to worry about the depreciation, any new change in technology. If you have a 2 or 3 year lease, at the end of your lease, you can just simply turn the vehicle back in and get the more up-to-date, more modern vehicle. And the other benefit is that these current electric vehicles are going onto the used market, which is good for the consumers. So it may not be so good for the individual that may be losing some value in their vehicle, but as far as depreciation is concerned, what the heck is this joker doing? But as far as man. But as far as more electric vehicles being on the market, that's outstanding because they make it more accessible to more people. So the more accessible electric cars are, there's more people that can afford them. And, you know, if you're concerned about the environment, that's lower impact, especially as far as emissions. Because I know California still has a smog problem. And so even if you don't believe in climate change, there's certain areas of the country, primarily the West Coast because of that mountain region, where they have a significant, and the amount of cars, they have like 14 million cars in California. That's almost double the cars of the next state, which I believe is Texas. So, and they have a pollution problem because of that. And so if the goal is to reduce tailpipe emissions, that's outstanding. That's an awesome benefit to the consumer. But let me know what you think. Let me know what you think as far as leasing. Is it a bad deal? You won't consider if you're looking at an electric vehicle, you just rather purchase it. But just go ahead and comment in the comment section. And also make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you like this content. But that's all I have for today. I'd like to thank you for joining me once again, and I can't wait to see you on the next video.